Assalamu alaikum everyone and welcome back. This video is the continuation of the Form 5 final exam practice. Now in this video I'll be doing percentages and inequalities questions. This will be pretty easy, of course. Percentages, we have a lot of types. The main two types are the interest and the prices, and because this time in this video I'm just talking about the prices, so let's deal with that. So what do you know about the prices? How are things sold outside? First of all, there are raw materials. You make up things and produce the things, and then after making the things, you send it to markets, and then markets will help you sell to the customers. That's how the process goes, right? As for the investors or the boss themselves, they just care about how much you used originally and then how much it was sold for, and then whether or not there was profit, loss, or whatsoever. How about for markets? Markets, they have to do the medium role, so they have to see if the things are normal or not, if they have been spoiled or not. If they are spoiled, do they have to give any discount or not, and all those things. So because so many things are going on, what we do is draw a relation. So we start with cost price. So cost price means the production price, the original price, the raw materials things. And then after the production, we send the materials to market. So we have the market price. And then after in the markets, they will help us sell to the customers. So the last one is called selling price. So remember, I was saying that the markets will decide whether the things are spoiled or not. If they are spoiled, then they will give out discounts. So between market and the selling, there is a thing called discount. Okay, discount. As for the boss themselves, they just care about the first and the last. So they are what we call profit and loss relationship. So that's how everything goes. Start from cost price, market price, and then in the end selling price. And then you also need to know where the different relations are. So this is one type of the questions. Now, do you see the arrows? It starts from here and it goes towards that. Starts from here and goes towards that. What does that mean? That means when you write the equation, you also write it in steps. So start from market price. I will use M to represent. And then from market, you get some sort of discount, let's say X percentage. Now, since it's a discount, so your price will get lower, so there's a minus. And then after the discount, you get the selling price. So that's how your first equation can be made if it's discount. How about for profit loss? If it's percentages, then it's easy. From your cost, you either have the profit percentage or the loss percentage. So X percentage, let's say again, and to get the selling price. Now, sometimes the profit and loss is not really related with the percentage, right? For example, the original cost for a pencil was, let's say, $1, but I sold it to $10. Can I know my profit? Yes, $9. So it could be just the official number then. So not a must to have the percentages. So that's why the other equation from cost and selling price is from your cost, you can have the profit or you can have the loss, something dollars, to get the selling price. But if you have the percentages, you will have one in front. Okay, so that's the how much things has been changed from the original one. Original is what we call one. Okay, that's one of the prices thing. And what other things that you're usually asked is about the percentage change. Now, how do we find percentage change? We want to know how much change is actually made. So what we do, we need the new price, the new value. You also need the original things, so old value, and then you can find it. So percentage change will be from your new minus old over old times 100%. Actually, even from here, you can do the same thing. After opening up the brackets, it will become like this. So what's our new from here? Everything starts from here. This is your new. So when it's about the prices and you want to find the percentage change, percentage profit, percentage loss, then you will do the selling price. That's the newest selling price minus old, so this is the oldest, so selling price minus the cost price over old, so old is cost price, over old over cost price, so and then times 100%. But when you click calculator, remember to put a bracket for the denominator because it's more than one thing there, and no need to click percentage in calculator. You need to click times 100, but no need percentages. The reason is that in the answer you need percentage, so you can't eliminate that. Okay, so that's about the notes. Now let's look at the question. Be very careful, you understand every single part of these notes. Even when you in exams, before starting to do the question, you can draw the relationship so that you're 100% clear of it. So I'm just putting this on the side so that later on we can use it. So let's see what's the question saying. That's lucky, you're already having the market price. So first of all, your market, wait, because here I was using M, S, P, and C, right? If you're gonna use these symbols, these M, S, P, and C, let the markers know. How do we let them know? By writing the let thingy. So let cost price be C, market price be M, and selling price be, now selling price, the letter S looks like 5, right? So it's up to you what you want to use. For me, it doesn't look like a 5 for sure because my S is very curved, and then my 5 is very obvious. So I can read it very nicely, 5S, and my S is always lowercase, so it's okay. So up to you. If you think markers will not get confused, then you write the S. If you think markers can get confused, write any other words, maybe X, Y, Z, anything. So now we know that the market price is 500. And the next thing, translation, right? Market price is means equals 25% higher than the cost. So market price is 25% higher than cost. So is means equals. So you have market price first, equals to market price is 25%, and when it's about percentages, we always use the 1 minus or 1 plus. And since it's a higher than, so you have 1 plus in the beginning. And it's higher than which thing? It's higher than the cost. So you have cost next to it. So market price is 25% higher than the cost. Do we know any of the values here? Yes, we have the market price. So let's replace it. 500 equals to 1 plus 25%. You can click calculator. You will be able to get that at 1.25 C. And then now because they're together, so that means 1.25 times C here. And since it's multiplied here, if you want to move it to the other side, you would, yes, divide it. So 500 over 1.25. And what do you get for that? 500 divided by 1.25. You don't really need calculator, right? For this question only. So it will be around 400. So that's why we know our cost. Remember to write the final statement, because here we know C is 400. But what was C? C was the cost price. So you write the whole thing again. The cost of the jacket is $400. And no dollar sign, you might lose the unit mark. That's why very, 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 very important. Cool. Now let's do part B. This is part A, okay? Or you could say part A starts from here, because that's the whole for part B as well. Now what happens? Cost never changes because that's the original price. That you have to know. Cost never changes. And then in part B, we know that it's sold at 480. So our market price is 500. Our cost is 400. And then our selling price is 480. And what do we have to find? Percentage profit. So it's between here. So you will have to find the X value here, or you could have said it's as the percentage change. So how do we find percentage change? The newest thing minus the older things. So percentage change will be the latest thing, which is 480, that means the selling price minus the cost over the cost times 100%. And because on your numerator the upside is having more than one thing, so calculate that thing. So 80 over 400 times 100%. Now if you don't have calculator, what you can do is 100 here, 400 here, simplify, just 4 left, and then 4, and then here 8, 2, so 20%, right? And if you have calculator, of course it's better, because to be 100% sure. So that's why we will write profit is 20%. That's good. Now let's continue. One more practice. So because I'm gonna use the same let thingy, so I will just copy paste because I am a little lazy. That's one of the excuses I have at the moment, right? And what do I have? You have your market price. It's actually the same, it's just for your practice. And then we know that the market price is 25% higher than the cost. So let's quickly write it. Market price is 600. Market price is 25% higher than the cost. And we already know market price. 1 plus 25% is 1.25c. And the 1.25c here is the times, like multiplied. So that's why if you go to the other side, it will be divided. And then click that in calculator. You should be able to get 480. So that's why you know your cost is $480. Good, that's your part A. As for part B, we know our market price is 600. We know our cost is 480. We also now know that it's sold at 624. So our selling price is 624. And you have to find percentage change, or we could say percentage profit. Now we already know it will be a positive answer because original price is 480. You sold it at 624. So there is a profit. So it will be newest minus the oldest over the oldest. So 624 minus 480, click calculator or anything, you can get that as 144 over 4. Oops, did I miss something? Yes, times 100%, because I have to find the percentage change. And so you will have that, and click the whole thing in calculator. You should be able to get as 30%. So that's why our profit is 30%. So that's for the percentages. Now let's also quickly do the inequalities. Inequalities we have done a lot in schools, of course. Different schools have different ways to do it, and this shall not be the hardest topic. It's one of the easy questions, and it's in the A1 as well. So inequalities, your first step is to make sure there is no bracket. If there are brackets, okay, first step is fractions, of course. And after dealing with fractions, deal with the brackets. Open up all the brackets, expand everything. And after expanding, make sure there is no negatives. So let the negatives become positives. What does that mean? That means the unknowns, put it on the positive side so that it's easier. Because when you have negatives and you divide it on the other side, you have to change sign, and that is harder. So after doing that, and the numbers on one side, unknowns on the other side, and then next step will be solving, and then must draw. After drawing the two answers, because there are two equations, you find the final answer. So after, and that final answer is your answer for part A, because you might have two different answers here, and if you forget to draw, you will forget to find the final answer as well. That's what always go in step. So after final answer, then you can do part B. So our first step, fractions, done. Second step, opening up the brackets, and it's just a habit to rewrite the whole question again, because just not to get confused by the wording sometimes. And when you write it on your own, your brain starts calculations. So open up, -3 times 4, -12x, and then -3 times 5, -15. Now, did I mention that we have to move the negative to positive? Yeah. So I only for the unknowns, no need for numbers. So this is -12x here. So this is a negative unknown. So I will have to move this to the other side. So what it becomes -15 here, x plus 6 plus 12x. And then next, unknowns on one side, numbers on the other side. So I will move all the numbers to the left. If I move the x to the left, they will again become negative. That's why I'm not moving it. It's positive 6 here, coming here, it will be negative 6. And the other side, x plus 12x, which is 13x, and then negative 15 minus 6, you will have negative 21. And then 13 here is multiplied, so if you move it to the other side, it will be divided. So that's how you get it. So this one is saying x is less than this thing. So let's write it back to the left side for our own convenience later on. Okay, how about for this one? 2 here is multiplied, so if you move it to the other side, it will be divided. Yay. So negative 8 divided by 2, you get negative 4. Now both of the solutions are done, but we have to draw to find the final answer. So drawing, you have the 0 here, you have negative 21 over 13, which is 1 point something, and then you have negative 4 here, and this one is less than this. So the more on the left side, the more smaller number that you get. So if it's smaller than that, so you will draw the arrow to the left side. Same goes for the other one, also draw it to the left side. And remember to shade it, the circle on top, if there's an equal sign. If there's no equal sign like this one, then you can leave it as empty. So this is your drawing, and it's easier if you do the shaded parts like that, shading. And now the question is about or. Or means where does all the shaded part starts. If the question here is and, the wording's and, then we will just have to see where do they meet. But now since it's the or, so we have to see where all the shaded part starts. It starts from negative 21 over 13. So that's why your part A, the final answer is negative 1 over 13. X is smaller than negative 21 over 13. That's your final answer. That's how you get the 3 marks of part A. Now part B, most students get confused, like whether I have to use this or this. This is your final answer, right? So only with this final answer you find part B. So for your part B, since your answer is this one, so this is negative 21 over 13 is around negative 1.6. So you want to find the greatest number that is smaller than this. The more the negative, the smaller the number is. And you need to be the number smaller than negative 1.6. So it will be negative 2, negative 3, negative 4, negative 5, negative 6, and so on. So among these all numbers, which one is the greatest? Negative 2. Okay. Negative 2 here, negative 3 here. This is your answer only. And then all these numbers, which one is the biggest number? Negative 2. You can't have this one because this is not an integer. You only need the integer. Okay. So that's for your first inequality question. Second one, very much similar. So let's do it very quickly. First of all, open up everything. I'm not recopying the question because I can clearly see the question. And the next thing that you have to do is to make sure all the unknowns are positive sides. So I will move this negative 6 to the other side. It will be positive 6 there. And then the 5, next thing that we do is unknowns one side, numbers on the other side. So negative positive 5 comes here, x plus 6x is 7x. And then the 7 is multiplied, so if you come here, it will be divided. Here as well, 4 is multiplied, so if you go it to the other side, it will be divided. And the negative 16 over 4, negative still there, 16 divided by 4 is 4. So now that you have two different solutions, what you do is drawing. So draw, draw, draw. There is a 0 here, there's negative 17 over 7. Negative 17 over 7 is 2 point something, so it will be there. And you can rewrite it back to left side for your own convenience, but make sure it's lesser there. So now since both of them are getting lesser, so you will draw both of them to the left side and then shade it. And then because the question is about or, so or we think about where did the journey started, so it will be, your final answer will be negative 17 over 7. Okay, since this is your final answer, so for part B, much easier, because you just have to see what number is less than 2.4. So it will be, greatest will be less than 2, what will be negative 2, so it will be negative 3. Easy. There's a negative 3 here. Now negative 2 is on that side, negative 1 is on that side, but your answers are here. So from here, what's the greatest number, which is negative 3. That's it for this video. You have done the inequalities here and also the percentages here. In the previous video, we did a lot more, of course. So if you have any other question, you can ask me on WhatsApp, IG, or anywhere. In the coming videos, we're also doing simultaneous equation and the coordinates. So it will be a lot more work. So till then, see you. Tata, bye-bye. Allah Hafiz. Okay, that's good. Just be very careful for part B. It's 1 mark, but it's hard. If you have your final answer, you know the values of it. Sometimes very pretty answers. It's just I made these questions in randomly, so you have decimals here. It's not just 2.4. It's 2.4, 2, 8, 7, 5, 7, blah 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 blah, so much. So among all these numbers, negative 2 point something here. So if you want to get lesser, it will be negative 3, negative 4, negative 5, negative 6, negative 7, and so on. But then among all these numbers, the highest number is negative 3. So that's why you will say greatest integer is negative 3. Easy? Easy? Very easy. So see you next video. Allah Hafiz.